Welcome to a pretty Tuesday night in lower downtown Denver. The sun is out and the Rockies are ready to roll. They're taking on the Tigers, game 2 of a 3-game set. Final 2 ball games tonight and tomorrow afternoon against the American League this year for Colorado. They're 9-9. German Marquez very comfortable, as we were just discussing, on the Coors Field mound. And he'll look at the Tigers for the first time. He's also been good, Jeff Hughes, in an interleague play.
4 starts, he's 2-0 with a 2.25. Rockies are 3-1 during that time. And his last start against Kansas City, gave up 2 solo home runs, 1 in the first, 1 in the second, but that was it. 8 hits in 6 innings, had a couple walks, a couple strikeouts. It was his 11th quality start, 97 pitches, got the no decision. But again, for German, he has been like the face of consistency here the last 6 to 8 weeks. We talked about the numbers at Coors Field, how great they are. His last 8 home starts, 6-0. But it's with pitches you've seen before. It's the fastball, curveball, changeup, slider. In his last start, though, he threw his curveball about 35% of the time, and his fastball only 57% of the time. So he's starting to learn, I need to mix it up a little bit more.
And some of that, quite honestly, is the influence of Jonathan Lucroy,
sure,
who did a quick study on all of these pitchers and got with Steve Foster. He got with Darren Holmes. He looked at a lot of video. Now he's received most of these guys a couple of times, and veteran catcher realizes you got to mix it up against high quality opponents in particular. First pitch is in there, strike 1. 0-1 on Ian Kinsler. Kinsler struggling of late, 189 over his last 10. He swings over the top of that 95-mile-an-hour fastball.
They struggled a little bit, surprisingly, against the fastball. Only hitting 234 against fastballs this year. That's the 8th lowest in all of baseball. Now, Kyle Schwarber's #1, just a shade over 200.
You know, and sometimes that happens when a player gets into his mid-30s, where the reaction times are, we're not talking about 10th of a second, we're talking about hundredths of a second slower, and you get beat a little bit more on the fastball. I'm not saying that's what the reason is. He may come out and hit 320 next year. He's such a talented guy, but a lot of times, you remember, guys start lowering their hands, they have to cheat a little bit more. 0-2, slider, and a beauty. That reminds me of what Buddy Black told us before the ball game. I asked Buddy about what he thought about with his release point on his slider. We were talking a little more specifically about Greg Holland, and he said, you know, always knuckles on top, and he said, more than anything, my sights were set low, so if I missed with it, it was down in the zone in the dirt.
It's not chest high.
Exactly.
That's what you have to do, and at Coors Field in particular too. You've got to set your sights lower where you start that pitch.
Here's Alex Presley. He had a triple last night, and he takes ball 1. And that's line to right, a base hit. Parra will field it on a hop, and he thought about going Little League for a moment, throwing to first base. Did you see that?
Yes. Does that surprise you?
No. 1 out, 1 on. Here's the Southwest batting order for Brad Ausmus. Justin Upton will hit 3rd, and of course, without Cabrera in there, Castellanos moves up from the 5 spot to the cleanup spot. James McCann, a catcher who's been swinging it well the last couple of months. Mike Mottook's in center field. John Hicks is getting the start at first. He came in the second half of the ball game yesterday for Cabrera. Jose Iglesias will play short and bat 8th. The big stick in this lineup is Justin Upton. He's having a terrific campaign. Justin has 4 years left at just under $90 million on his contract, but he has an opt-out after this season, and there is speculation. There's speculation about everything, right?
All the time.
All the time. There's speculation that because he's coming off, or will be coming off, such a big year. This ball is sliced to right. Parr's coming, and he lays out. Can't make the catch. It's a fair ball. And now you got a problem. Now you got a problem because Upton ran up the back of Presley, and they're going to get an easy out. Justin Upton just giving himself up. That's a huge break for the Rockies. Upton just assumed Presley was going to go to third, and quite honestly,
should
I
have
put that on Presley.
Exactly.
I mean, he dove, the ball drops. Presley could have walked to third base.
Yeah, that's where you turn your body for that guy running. You see what happens, and then you pick up your third base coach. So he kind of turns a little bit. He sees it down, and it's kicked so far away. Justin Upton immediately thinks he's going to be able to go. But Presley, watch what he does. He doesn't pick up the third base coach until a little too late. So then you get that freebie out.
You have to, baseball instincts, Huey, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm going to
yeah.
tell you where that ball dropped, man lays out.
And he's got to get up, go over by the fence, throw it all the way from there, 250 feet in the air to get me a third base, and I have a little bit of speed.
That ain't happening.
No.
So the Rockies catch a big break there. 9-4 on the putout. It goes as a hit for Upton. And now they're 2 outs with Presley at second, and Castellanos is at the plate, the South Florida native. Breaking ball and a beauty, 0-2. Just to finish that story on Upton, there's all kinds of speculation that he will opt out because he could make even more as a free agent, even though, you know, clearly 4 years, 86 or 88 million, whatever's left on his deal, is a lot of money. But
and also, I think he's got to look at the direction of the ball club. What are they going to go? Are they going to go young on me, and I'm not going to have a chance to win? They're going to blow everything up.
Good pitch. Marquez gets the strikeout of Castellanos, and no problem after the base running error by Detroit. So the Rockies hold the Tigers off the board. First inning, the Rockies getting ready to face Michael Fulmer. Here's the Southwest batting order for the Rockies tonight. Charlie Blackmon, who had 3 more hits last night, he's up to 340. He'll lead it off, then LeMahieu and Arenado naturally. Gerardo Parra will bat cleanup. Mark Reynolds 5th. Desmond had a couple of hits in his return since being out since July 25th. Jonathan Lucroy, big night. Home run, 3 hits. Trevor Story will bat 8th, then German Marquez. The Rockies knocked the baseball around the ballpark last night. 13 hits, they just couldn't score. Only 3 runs. They came in the same inning in the second. We may have a delay right now. The home plate umpire, the crew chief, Mike Everett, the home plate umpire will always look in on a few warm-up pitches to you know, get a feel for ball movement with each pitcher, and he took a ball that bounced and
yeah, it
got shaken up.
Yeah, it was the second to last warm-up pitch. So he immediately hopped off, and everybody's out checking on him, making sure he's okay. Game hadn't even started yet.
One thing that we ought to point out more. Those guys are tough hombres who get back behind the plate. Guys throwing 95 to 100 whatever miles an hour these days, and the ball skips by, and sometimes it misses equipment. Plus, they're squatting every inning like a catcher, getting ready for every pitch, and they don't get to go to the dugout in between innings.
Well, looks like somebody's going to put some gear on.
So we're going to have a significant delay then. And I wonder if Mike can work the bases and may just flip-flop.
Well, you know it won't be Jordan Baker or Bruce Dreckman because they're going to be on the corner, so it's got to be Tom Woodring, the second base umpire.
So Mike, good thing he's got a smile on his face. We had one, was it Laz Diaz? Who was it a few weeks back who ended up getting hit? And he actually broke his
arm,
his finger and had to have surgery. I don't want to say, was it Laz or was it? It was a while ago, but again, hopefully Mike is okay. So we'll find out who's going behind the plate, and we'll take a break and be back to Coors Field. We're in the bottom of the first, no score. And not really throwing right now. For Tom Woodring, who's going to be the home plate umpire, it takes a while. You got to go inside, and I think they even wear different pants than they normally do when they're behind the plate to fit the shin guards. Got to get the chest protector.
All the other gear that goes along with it.
Yeah. So it's going to take a few minutes. It wasn't Laz Diaz, and I apologize to Laz. It was Kerwin Danley on August 2nd. And in talking to one of Kerwin's partners the next day, Kerwin had to have surgery. Broken hand. That was a foul tip, wasn't it?
Foul tip, yeah. Well, there are the numbers for Michael Fulmer. 10 and 11 on the year, 369. Out on the road, 4 and 7, but still a 388. It'll be the fastball and he's using a lot more two-seam fastballs now. Opponents hitting 245 against the fastball, 214 against the slider, 241 against the changeup. And for the Rookie of the Year last year, the All-Star this year, Fulmer's nasty. And he's got a good fastball, 95.9 miles an hour. So I go ahead and round it up to 96. That's the way we do it. Round it up. So constantly going 96 miles an hour, but don't sleep on that slider because that is a hard, vicious slider for Fulmer. I will say this, though, he's battled some elbow injuries this year, some numbness in his elbow. And he had to come out of the start back in July 30th. So his last 5 starts, or last 6 starts, excuse me, he's 0-5 with the 5.97 ERA.
He's been a little bit different. The other thing this year, his strikeout totals are down fairly significantly from a year ago. And he went on just an unbelievable run. At one point, he made 8 straight starts and allowed 1 run or less in all 8 starts.
Now this year, 111 strikeouts, but 158 in the 3rd innings for Fulmer.
Captured the 2016 American League Rookie of the Year award, 142 votes. Gary Sanchez was a distant second with 91. I thought for a moment that Blackman may run up the tunnel and
get loose again,
swing upstairs in the tunnel.
Well, maybe he's just going to carry over what he did last night, because he was pretty hot last night. Started off with an RBI single up the middle to drive in Trevor, a base hit to right field, and then a broken bat blooper to center to finish the night 3 for 5. And another multi-hit game. That is 57 multi-hit games for Charlie.
And this is different whenever you have a lengthy delay.
You don't know what to do. Do I go get loose again? I mean, I'm kind of loose, but now you're just waiting for the umpire.
We'll take another break, come back, and hopefully we'll all be set for the bottom of the 1st inning.
Right here.
And he's ready to go. He wants to watch a couple more pitches, and obviously Fulmer gets a couple more. And now they throw down, and we are set for the Rockies to hit in the bottom of the 1st. So here comes the leading hitter in the National League, and Chuck Nasty. On base percentage of .402. He's slugging .621, so his OPS is 1,023. That, folks, is ridiculously good. The league average for OPS on base percentage plus slugging percentage is around 750. He's at 1,023.
Yeah.
Detroit does not shift with Charlie. Some teams do. And the first pitch from Fulmer is in there at 95. So it's a 3-man crew. Tom Woodring's behind the plate. Bruce Dreckman is at first. Jordan Baker's at 3rd. And Tom Woodring takes a look and says that's a strike also, so it's 0-2.
There's scattering reports on umpires like there are on pitchers, and now you kind of try to remember what Tom Woodring's strike zone is like compared to Mike Everett's.
There's that two-seam fastball running away. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Last year was more 4-seam fastball.
Charlie pulls it, but it's right at John Hicks. He'll run to the bag, 1 out. Fulmer has never faced the Rockies, just like German Marquez has never seen the Detroit Tigers. That man is terrific with the glove. He, along with Andrelton Simmons, the 2 best fielding shortstops in the American League. Upton's in left. They like Matzuk in center field. Alex Presley is in right. Castellanos 17 errors at third base. Kinsler at second. He won a Gold Glove last year. And James McCann catching every day now that Alex Avila has moved on. Got traded by his dad.
That would be a tough one, right?
That would be
when you go home at night
and
you're talking to your wife and say, sweetheart, did Alex call you today? I had to trade him. So you pick up the phone.
Avila was having a great year.
Yeah. Hey, Dad, how you doing? I'm doing fine, son, but I got some bad news. I'm trading you. You call your mom.
Yeah.
I'm not talking to her.
Got good news and bad news for you. I couldn't be more proud of how you've played this year. That's the good news. 2-0 on DJ's in there, 2-1. The bad news is you're now a Tampa Bay Red. Actually, I'm trying to think, where did Avila go?
Was it the Cubs, wasn't it?
Yeah, you're right. He went to Chicago. 3-1. He moved up in the standings
considerably.
The 2 big catching names reportedly on the market were Alex Avila and Jonathan Lucroy. Rockies, of course, got Lucroy. Fulmer was the #1 pick of the Mets, sandwich pick, in 2011, and he was part of the Yoenis Cespedes deal when Cespedes was traded from Detroit to the Mets. You think about all the pitching, starting pitching the Mets had. This ball's hit well to right field. Presley going back to the wall. Gone! Home run, DJ LeMahieu. Second time in the last few days, he's hit an opposite field bomb. 1-0 Colorado.
Well, Fulmer does not give up many home runs. This is his 13th home run that he has given up this year, the 8th to a right-handed batter. Righties were hitting .219 off of Fulmer, Subaru Supermo, and DJ. He can get on top of some high fastballs now.
That's
the other
impressive.
one, the one he snuck down the line in Atlanta, got a little slice to it. That one didn't. That one you knew off the bat that it had a chance to go immediately.
7 home runs now for LeMahieu. .1-0 on Arenado. Good swing, good quick swing.
And Fulmer is also the top in all of baseball and the fewest home runs allowed per 9 innings. There you see it on the graph there, just ahead of Chris Sale, Danny Duffy, and then Denver's own Ty Block sneaking into the top 5.
It's been one of the few bright spots for the Giants this year. Ty Block out of Regis High School. DJ last year hit a career best 11. You know, if you watch the BP, not his game, but again, he has a lot of power. It's in there. He's a big guy, 6'4", about 215 pounds. He's strong.
And when he creates the leverage sometimes that he wants, that's the type of home runs that you'll get. It's not his game, but sure comes in handy occasionally.
tell you something interesting about this month of August for the Rockies, which is going to end with them being beneath 500. It's August 29th. They're 11-14. There's only 2 ball games left in August, so it's going to be their first losing month since last September. Yet Buddy Black's team has the highest on-base percentage in August that they've had in any month this year. And you say, really?
Yeah.
Not only that, they have the 5th highest on-base percentage in baseball in August. Yet they have been miserable with runners in scoring position, particularly, this ball's hit hard at Hicks, particularly since August the 6th. Again, last night, 13 hits, Huey. 13 hits is going to garner you most nights, 5, 6 runs, you'd think, at least. 3 for the Rockies.
Yeah, but the last 11 games, as you said, Drew, it's been runners in scoring position, 181, just 17 for the last 94. But just to put the positive on it, though, as you said, you're getting the guys on base. So that worm is going to turn eventually. You hope it's tonight. You hope Bud, I know, is tired of answering the questions of what's going on with this offense. What are you doing with the lineups and all this other stuff?
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because Buddy does, and he does get that question a ton lately, and he handles it so well, like everything else. You see the 7-13 record, the last 20, just the 200 batting average. He said it's not so easy to just shake up the lineup. Everybody points to Charlie Blackmon because Charlie has hit with runners in scoring position, and he's been phenomenal. If you slide him down, it affects what you do 1 and 2, because then let's say you hit DJ leadoff. Okay, well, now who do you hit second?
Right.
And now it's showing panic, I think, to the players if you do that.
Totally agree. And the players are saying, this is all on us. If you change the lineup, what's it really going to do? Because now you're going to move guys out of position. There's going to be 3 or 4 guys minimum that are going to have to change position. The other thing too is, who's to say? I think Charlie would do fine hitting 3rd or 4th, but we don't know. We don't know what the psyche would be of him changing positions.
Why mess with something that you know is a winning deal?
And I
Charlie
know
batting leadoff,
right.
he's the best in baseball.
Right. And DJ hitting 2nd, Nolan hitting 3rd. You want your 3 best guys to get that extra at bat.
2 strikes on Gerardo. And a slowly hit ball to Hicks. And he's going to end up with all 3 putouts in the inning. But sandwiched in between a DJ LeMahieu opposite field bomb. And the Rockies have a 1-0 lead on Michael Fulmer and the Tigers.
Toyota Talk Takeover. Taking over our Twitter account tonight is my former teammate, Brian Fuentes. We asked him the questions you sent in, all your thoughts We will put those throughout the broadcast. We'll show you his answers. Let's look back to Tito Fuentes, 2007 All-Star. He's a franchise leader in saves with 115. The Rockies received him from Seattle back in the day. He's one of my favorite teammates of all time because he's funny, he's quick-witted, and he loves the occasional good ribbing that all of us love to do to each other. Guys?
Spilly, thank you for that update. Spilly, are you hot, by the way, down there? Because it's kind of warm tonight. It's 85 degrees at first pitch.
Does it look like I'm hot right now?
You moved out to center field.
I'm in center. It's Tuesday. That's what we do. We come out to center field on Tuesday.
Was there air conditioning out there? I don't know about.
I'm frying right now.
Okay.
There's a little wind out there. It's okay.
I know. Well, that's the fan I put so my hair moves.
Put a little more pancake on the forehead. You're starting to glow a little bit.
It's not that bad, is it? It's hot out here. It's hot.
The ball, in all seriousness, the ball was jumping in BP.
Yes, it was. How about DJ opposite field Taco?
Yeah, an oppo Taco. 1-1 on McCann. He bounces it foul.
Can I interject something really quick?
Absolutely.
Please.
The catcher tonight for the Detroit Tigers, who's hitting right now, James McCann, he went to Dos Pueblos High School, which is in Santa Barbara. Apparently, he came out today and told me that I coached him at a coach's clinic when I was still a professional. And look at what I did.
Look at your skills.
You should take credit for him. I wouldn't see it any other way. Swung on and missed. You're not going to take credit for that, though. Marquez has the good breaking ball. That's 3 strikeouts in his first 5 hitters.
Spilly, did you teach him how to hit with that strikeout?
You know, it was funny. So I had no idea that he was from Santa Barbara because it didn't say on the media guide that he went to Dos Pueblos High School. I know that he went to University of Arkansas, where he still lives because he loves to hunt. So I had no idea until he came up and told me.
How did how did Santa Barbara let him go?
I don't know. They just
How
let
did
him
the
go.
Gauchos not get him?
He was good.
Did you give him the double secret Santa Barbara handshake?
Other Santa Barbara secret handshake behind the plate, Tom Woodring went to Santa Barbara Junior College, Santa Barbara City College, and was a baseball player at the same time I was playing at UC Santa Barbara.
You know what we call Tom? Red. Does he not look like our friend and colleague John Shambi?
Yes, he does.
Boog.
We thought Shambi jumped in umpire's gear and was working the plate tonight. Well, Boog's listening. 1 strike on Mikey Matuk. And he fouls it off. His buddy DJ LeMahieu's from LSU.
A chance to get together today prior to batting practice. Catch up, relive old times.
And Herman gets another strikeout on a slider. 4 strikeouts. 2 gone. That'll bring up John Hicks. They're the 2 Tigers.
Remember our time back in Baton Rouge, national champs.
Remember when I hit a couple home runs in a game for LSU? I did it the other day. May hit a bomb tonight. Ball 1 on Hicks. Hitting 370 his last 9 ball games. And he hits it on the ground deep short. Trevor Story, great play. Smooth. Herman Marquez has got it going. A 1-2-3 second. Rockies up on that LeMahieu home run. They lead 1-0. Middle of 2. Colorado Rockies baseball on AT&T Sportsnet is brought to you by the 2017 Toyota Tundra in your hometown Toyota stores, by UC Health, Live Extraordinary, and by Southwest Airlines. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. On a warm Tuesday night, the Rockies in desperate need of a W. They're up 1-0. Bottom of the second, Mark Reynolds against Michael Fulmer, and the slider misses, ball one. With Ryan Spilborghs, who's camped out in center field. My partner Jeff Houston. I'm Drew Goodman. Outside, 2-0 on Mark. Reynolds yesterday 1 for 5. That's the other thing about last night's ball game. Every player in the Rockies lineup, position player, with the exception of Gerardo, had a hit. And still at the end of the night, the Rockies total on the scoreboard was 3 runs.
Even last night, you talk about the on-base percentage. That's a positive thing, because you're going to get the guys, and that once it turns, it'll be fine. But you had the right guys up there with the bases loaded. I mean, who else would you want up there besides Nolan? And then Gerardo following him up, who's been so good.
And how often is it going to happen that Nolan is not going to get at least 1 run home?
With a sac fly, something. You're right.
2-2. You hope to do the same thing they did last night. The Rockies wore down Jordan Zimmerman, who lasted 5 innings, gave up the 3 runs on 9 hits. You got into that bullpen, which has been, let's face it, very poor for Detroit, and they ended up having a good night. Reynolds is gone. That's the first strikeout tonight for Michael Fulmer. 1 gone. Ian Desmond coming up. Fans, when the Rockies score 7 in a game, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the following day. Do it between 4 and 6 in the evening to receive your Rockies taco special. We invite you to Lip Moss at Taco Bell. Desmond, an infield hit and a base hit up the middle. 2 for 4 last night for Desmond.
After he got the late call to be in the starting lineup. I mean, that's about as late as I've seen anybody have to be inserted in the lineup.
During our Toyota postgame show, Spilly asked him about his conversation literally right after the national anthem with Buddy Black, and he said, yeah, that was different. He said, of course, you know, he's used to being a starter, so I used to getting that tap on the shoulder. But he responded well, as you figured he would. And I think any question about his calf was answered on that infield hit, Huey.
Had to be.
This ball is hit loud to right center field. Presley's not going to be able to get it, and it's going to be a long single. It was hit so hard. So Desmond, and his speed is aboard with 1 out. Your basic 375-foot single with a guy who can really run.
And I'm thinking about Presley in right field. He says 2 balls have been hit at me. One's gone into the stands. The other one about knocked the wall down over my head.
Desmond, one of the 2 guys in the lineup that has actually seen Fulmer. Desi with the Rangers last year was 1 for 4 against Michael Fulmer. So now he's 2 for 5. Jonathan Lucroy is 0 for 3. Desmond's teammate second half of last year in Texas. There's a strike. Lucroy had a big night yesterday, Huey.
Started it off with the home run in the second inning, a 435-foot blast to drive in himself and Ian Desmond, put the Rockies back tied at that point. They wanted to score 1 more that inning, take the lead, but 3 for 4 on the night, a couple ribbies.
And that catches the zone also. 2 strikes on Lucroy.
Both of them at the bottom of the zone. Fulmer working on the extreme first base side of the rubber. Good look on that shot, how far over he is.
This is a base hit to center field, and Desmond's going to go first to third. That's the little element that we've been talking about that Desmond brings. A lot of guys, Huey, would have shut that down at second base.
You said, no, I don't think I could go. But Desi read that ball immediately off the bat. He's also seeing where Matuk is playing in center field. So watch it. He sees it, and then immediately there's no hesitation. There's not a look over at Stu. Do I go? Do I not go? The difference in base running in this game, think about Presley not going first to third, and then Ian going first to third.
Now it sets up a wonderful opportunity for Story. Different deal, first and third versus first and second. Story 5 for his last 14, all 5 hits, doubles. 4 down in Atlanta. He had a one-handed double off the top of the wall in right center field last night. And this skips by. Here comes Desmond. The slide, and he's out. Wow. And now I can get on my soapbox again about how much I hate the hard backgrounds. You throw a wild pitch, you should not get rewarded like that.
No, you should, but all ballparks are like that now, where they got the brick back there, they got something hard, and as a base runner, I see that ball go behind. I don't have the time nor the luxury to determine, well, is it going to kick back hard? I see it go back behind him. I think I can score at that point. But McCann able to dive and reach and tag Desi on the Subaru Supermo before he does the slide, and also kind of taking out Fulmer.
Again, it's, to me, you should never get rewarded for a pass ball or a wild pitch. In your instincts, you can't fault the runner at third, in this case Desmond. Ball goes by the catcher, you're off. And now Detroit will get out of it. That's just how it's going for the Rockies lately. Great opportunity to tack on a run. Bad break. 1-0 going to the third.
Opposite field home run has the Rockies up 1-0. Tuesday, it's a Toyota Talk Takeover. Our guest tonight, closer from back in 2007, Brian Fuentes. The first question, what was your favorite moment during the 2007 season? My favorite moment was Helton's home run off of Saito. Of course, this still ranks down as one of my favorite moments of all time. You have to remember, Matt Holliday had a hit off Saito, the first single he'd given up to the Rockies all season long, and then Helton with the bomb deep into the night. It's the first time we've ever seen Helton with this type of emotion, so obviously it rings true with all of us as far as our favorite moments. We will be having that reunion September 15th through the 17th later on this year as the Padres are in town, so you'll see a lot of Brian Fuentes. You'll see probably a lot of your favorite Rockies from that 2007 World Series team. Guys?
Looking forward to it, Spilly. That's going to be a blast, and kudos to you for putting that thing together and being part of putting that together. Ramon Marquez, slow roller, and Iglesias is thrown out. 1 out in the 3rd. You know, the other bad break, going back to that bottom of the 2nd inning, with the out coming at the plate, and then Trevor flying out to end the inning. Next inning will start with Ramon Marquez, where there was a strong likelihood that you would flip the lineup over and hopefully added a run.
Right. And then for Trevor's sake too, just the difference in your approach, knowing that it's 1st and 3rd and 1 out, and then you see that play happen in front of you. There's a runner at 2nd. Then your approach then is just a tad different. Where are those pitches?
2-0 on Fulmer.
Should be 0-2 according to Subaru strike zone.
And that's clearly outside 3-0. And that's the other thing I don't understand. When's the pitcher who has 4 at-bats this year getting the benefit of the doubt?
I don't know.
He may just keep this bat on his shoulder. He's got 3 strikeouts and 4 at-bats. This is just his 5th career plate appearance.
Set up right down the middle. Do it again. Herman thinks it's strike 3.
Only because it should have been.
Yeah, he was walking around like he's waiting for him to throw the ball around because it was strike 4.
On the count is 1 and 4. And now it's 1 and 5.
Now he can walk around.
5 strikeouts, first time through the order for Germán Marquez. 2 outs, nobody on for Ian Kinsler, who struck out on a slider his first time.
For Germán, he has 120 strikeouts on the season.
In 127 innings, so almost a strikeout per inning pitched.
Well, he's moved up to 6th all-time among rookies for the Rockies as far as strikeouts. John Gray's #1 with 185.
This ball on the ground to 3rd. Nolan can set his feet. Perfect throw across. And a 1-2-3 3rd inning. 7 in a row now. Set down by Germán Marquez. Rockies up 1-0.
The DJ LeMahieu home run. Fans, the next player-led game is Friday, September 1st. Celebrate Kyle Freeland during the game and buy the player-led ticket package to get the exclusive player t-shirt. And the bonus that night, not only do you get all of that, he's also starting that night.
It's nice when it works out
That's
that way.
right.
German Marquez has one of the better averages among pitchers in baseball, in addition to his 10 victories this year. He's hitting .222. He's driven in 5 runs. Takes a strike, 1-1. And this ball on the ground to Iglesias. 1 out. Last year, Michael Fulmer had a scoreless streak of 33 1/3 innings. The streak, which was the longest by a Tigers pitcher since at least 1913, was finally snapped when Sal Perez of Kansas City hit a solo home run. The only streak longer by a rookie pitcher since 1971 in all of baseball was 35 innings by Fernando Valenzuela in '81.
Fernando Mania.
Fernando Mania. 1-0 on Charlie. Grounded out to first. His initial at bat. And this is slowly hit to Iglesias, and he's not going to have a play. Ate the baseball, infield hit for Charlie. Watching Charlie make sure he's all right. Yeah.
That was too, because after he hit the bag, he kind of reached down to his right quad. I was just a little concerned. Iglesias is a smooth fielder, and he couldn't get this throw off. Was it his quad or his hamstring?
You know, it's the same area, honestly. It's the same area where he has cramped before. The good news is he bent down immediately to take off the protective guard, which, and you're stretching your hamstring doing that. Everybody knows that, which means, you know, to me,
he's okay.
He wasn't concerned about it.
No. But I think it might put the kibosh on trying to steal a base, though.
Charlie's now hitting 7 straight ball games, .464 average. DJ homered to right.
A lot of home runs now in the last few days for DJ. 2 to the opposite field. This one way back over the auxiliary scoreboard, about 4 or 5 rows. Two 2-0 now. Fulmer's like, I'll try to throw him a slider. That spun up there.
Three 3-0. Balls and a strike.
Now the question becomes, do you start the runner?
Charlie not going, and this is fouled off.
Mind not going 3-1. Sometimes I think it puts the hitter in a defensive position when he's in an offensive count. Because you don't want to take that pitch that's too close because you're not sure what kind of jump he's got. But with these two, it's almost automatic that I would send Charlie on a 3-2 with DJ up.
Charlie takes off, and it's fouled off. Fulmer's out of Edmond, Oklahoma, a suburb of Oklahoma City. 24-year-old. About a year and a half younger than John Gray.
6'3", 210-pounder.
Some guys who can hurl the baseball in the state of Oklahoma. We know that. Charlie goes, and that's fouled off.
For the middle infielders too for Detroit, they've played it now just like you would with the fastball. They had the shortstop covering Iglesias. With that changeup, they had Kinsler, the second baseman, covering. So they're looking in, they're seeing what sign and where the pitch location is going to be before they determine who's going to cover second base.
Ball 4. And the Rockies now have 2 on. 2 on for Nolan with 1 out as we check in again with Ryan.
Yeah, it's Tuesday, so it's a Toyota Talk takeover. And another question asked to Brian Fuentes is, what are Saturdays for? Hashtag Toyota Talk. Saturdays are for the boys, but I feel like most of the time my Saturdays are for cleaning the garage. By the way, Saturdays are for the Rocks because they are 12-9 on Saturdays. Saturdays are for the boys, guys.
And you and Huey and Tito and the whole gang will be back. Georgie at fantasy camp.
Yes.
Will be going down again. And I was talking to some folks inside the organization today. That once again is the week right before the Super Bowl. So contact the Rockies. You'll have the time of your life. We saw our man Roger Harbert. Roger's been going forever yesterday throughout the first pitch. Roger's originally from Australia. I think he's gone to like 16 fantasy camps. And he was a professional player for a time down in Australia a few years ago.
A few moons ago, yeah.
1-0. Nolan, slow ground ball to third. And only 1 play, and that's first. So the Rockies with 2 outs will have runners at second and third for Parra. And here's one of those situations again where the Rockies have 2 outs. They've been so good at this most of this year until the month of August. Getting that key hit to expand the lead. Oftentimes it has come with 2 outs. And many times it has been delivered by number 8.
Yeah, Gerardo on the year, 364 with runners in scoring position. On the month of August, still not bad at 273, but the drop-off is 91 points from his season average.
Well, the last 20 ball games, there's only 1 player on the Rockies who's hitting above 250 with runners in scoring position. And he's standing on third base. He's hitting 455, Charlie Blackmon. Here's a strike on Gerardo. Even Nolan, who eats up RBIs, he's just 2 for 19 with runners in scoring position of late. Base hit the other way. This will score 2. Exactly what the Rockies needed. Gerardo Parra delivers.
Just what the doctor ordered. Good things happen when you put it in play. Broken bat for Gerardo.
That's the kind of hit that has eluded Colorado in the month of August.
Little running fastball, two-seamer on the Subaru Supermo off the end of the bat, broke it, and you can hear the sound, very crackly sound of the bat. But for Rockies fans and for the players, Gerardo, it doesn't matter what it sounded like. It sounded like 2 more runs out of the scoreboard is what it meant.
62 driven in now this year for Parra. Reynolds takes ball 1. Martin struck out his first time. 62 RBIs, a new career high for Parra. He's got 62 ribbies, Huey, at 303 at bats.
Well, and that's why he's such an important piece, because whether he's hitting 4th or 5th, you feel like, okay, he's a guy that if there's another run out there, he's going to add on to it.
Ordinarily, Buddy's made mention of this, that, you know, Gerardo doesn't necessarily profile as your typical 4-hole or even 5-hole hitter. 2-hole, 6-hole, that kind of player. But right now, the way the Rockies are constructed, he's been hitting there most frequently, and he's been doing really well.
And that's where you can't label somebody. You can't label somebody and say, well, this is the only place in the lineup he can hit. And I think Gerardo also has the mentality that if you need me to hit 4th, I'll hit 4th. If you want me to hit 6th, I'll do that. Doesn't matter. I want to win ball games.
If Gerardo takes off here, 1-2. Nope. And it's full on Mark Reynolds. He'll be moving now. Desmond hoping for an opportunity here in the 3rd. Reynolds goes down in the inning. The Rockies get 2 runs, a 2-out single from Parra, and they have a 3-0 lead behind the fine work on the mound of Germán Marquez. Inning, it'll be Presley, Upton, and Castellanos. 2, 3, and 4 for the Tigers. Now time for our AARP getting to know. Brad Ausmus was drafted in the '92 expansion draft by the Rockies out of the Yankees organization with the 54th pick. Never got to the big leagues with Colorado. The next July he was traded to San Diego, and he went on to a very long big league career. Won 3 Gold Gloves, the '99 All-Star.
18 years as a big league catcher.
Brad always throws to the first group during batting practice for the Tigers. He's one of those managers that throws BP. Buddy Black is another one of those guys. There aren't a ton of them.
We saw Scott Service do it with Seattle.
Yeah.
So many times, though, the manager's out talking with his players. He's still talking to the media. He's got to do this and all these meetings that he has. But I think it's that one place where managers feel like I still have a little bit of player left in me.
Yeah. Another thing Buddy does after he throws BP, and he throws underneath to certain hitters, Charlie Blackmon most notably. But Buddy will go and play first base behind the screen. Guys are taking ground balls. 2-1. That's fouled off. 2-2 on Presley. Osmus 7th all time in number of games caught. Pretty fine career by a graduate of Dartmouth. He coached Team Israel in the 2013 WBC, and of course in 2017 Team Israel had a great run, kind of a Cinderella story of the WBC, and Jerry Weinstein was the manager or coach of Team Israel. And of course Jerry's been in the Rockies organization for a long time. He's managing in Hartford now. Swung on and missed. And that is strikeout number 6 as Presley is gone. 1 out in the 4th, and we check in again with Spilligus.
You guys are talking about Brad Osmus. I wanted to give you some numbers. He's the last catcher in Major League Baseball to have caught 150 games in a season. Even though he said, look, I didn't start all the time. There was times where Todd Jones, who was the closer at the time, he would come in as his lucky charm. But 150 games, it hasn't happened since 2000. Isn't that crazy to think that this game has changed so much that players and managers are protecting their catchers, that 135 is probably the max?
Yeah, the one guy that jumps out at me that goes back there pretty much every day, and even if it's a day game after a night game and a weekend series, even at his advanced age now by athletic terms, Yadi or Molina. Yadi goes back there. Here's the 0-1 on Upton, and that is 0-2. Slider, curveball,
and changeup.
Everything's working tonight for Herman.
I mean, he is filling up the strike zone. 38 pitches, 29 for strikes.
Fastball away, they settle on. See ya. Well, that is as good a pitch as you can make. Just off the black. Upton didn't offer at it at 98 miles an hour.
That's where you want it. If you're going to entice the hitter to do it, it's got to be still close enough where he might swing at it. I'll just get back to the catchers for a moment. The guy before Yadi, the last guy I thought that caught a lot, just elected into the Hall of Fame, Pudge Rodriguez.
Yeah, your buddy.
Yeah, I mean, he'd go back there for 140 plus in that Texas heat. He also played for Detroit.
Amazing player. 1-2, and swung on and missed. He came in with a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. Herman is pitching like an ace, and we have seen him do this a number of times this year. 22-year-old.
Elevated fastball in the Subaru Supermo. Straight heat here. Hit it if you can. 7th strikeout already with 2 outs in the 4th inning. And his season high, and obviously career high, is 10. And that was at Washington.
Here's Castellanos. And he fouls that first pitch off. We first got a nice scouting report on Herman from Jeff Salazar, actually. Sally watched him every day last year when he was with Hartford. And Spilly, you'll remember this, as you know, Sally and Spilly go way back. They came up in the minor leagues together. He said he has the easiest cheese he's ever seen. What he means by that? Yeah, I mean, no grunting. He just, all of a sudden, it's 97, 98.
I remember talking to a scout, and a scout was putting him on the list and trying to explain to me how good this guy was. He said, Spilly, Herman is going to be a top of the rotation type guy. He had the best stuff that he saw in AA, and this was 2 years ago. So, sky's the limit for this kid.
22 years of age.
You think about the deal that Jeff Bridich made. What a great move. And a good trade is you're not fleecing somebody, because the Rockies gave up a heck of a hitter in Corey Dickerson to Tampa, and good for Corey. He's having a really good year, especially a great first half. He was an all-star for the Rays, but the Rockies got back Jake McGee and this young man. That's a heck of a trade.
It is, and I think for Corey too, it works out better for him because the American League suits him.
He can DH some over there, yeah.
You know, this outfield here was a little big at times for Corey.
Yeah.
I'm not talking bad about him. It's just kind of a fact with him. But he can hit. He can flat out rake. But then you get this kid throwing here. Corey, 291, 25 home runs, 58 RBIs for Tampa.
3-2, and this is redirected to second, and the out is made there. That's 1 for 3. Another 1-2-3 inning for Marquez. He's retired 10 straight. Rockies up 3-0.
Dorothy and Desmond will lead off. Today is a Toyota Talk Takeover. Brian Fuentes, former closer back in 2007, is our guest. A fan asked him, what was your favorite part about closing? Tito responds, nothing better than 40,000 standing and cheering or booing with you with the game on the line. Tito Fuentes. I've always just wondered what that feels like. As a position player, we don't feel that adrenaline rush. I can only imagine busting through that gate, what it feels like running in, knowing it's the 9th inning. Guys?
All right, Spilly. It's great to have Brian Fuentes with us tonight.
Tito had 204 saves in his career. One of 48 other guys to have over 200 saves.
Yep, he had a marvelous career. On the ground to second, and Ian Kinsler will throw out Ian Desmond. That'll bring up Jonathan Lucroy. Lucroy had a single to center his first time. He's 4 for 5 in the series. Fuentes still owns the Rockies career mark for saves with 115. Boy, Lucroy leaned on that slider last night, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. That was his first home run in 173 at-bats.
1-1. And this ball sharply hit. That's a great play by Iglesias, and he's going to get the out at first.
And that was by design, the throw over to first. He is smooth. Dives and lays out for this. And shortstops like to do this on this throw to make sure that they don't sail it. Sometimes when you get up so quickly that you don't have a time for your arm to catch up, and you'll end up throwing the ball over the head of the first baseman.
Make sure it's a long hop, right?
Yeah, it's a long hop. But even if it was kind of an in-between or maybe a two-hop skipper over there, it gives that first baseman an opportunity to make the play. He can't jump and get any taller, but he can pick one out of the dirt.
Yeah, it just becomes like a ground ball.
Yes,
for him.
exactly.
Story hit a fly ball to center field. Final out of the second inning. 2 outs, nobody on. Rockies have had base runners in each inning. They had a home run in the first from LeMahieu, a couple hits in the second, didn't score there. Got 2 runs in the third. And a base hit up the middle for Story. That's big. If for no other reason, we'll get German Marquez to the plate here in the bottom of the fourth.
Rockies baseball is always live with the MLB.com and Bat mobile app. Stay connected all season. Video highlights, stats, news, and more.
Good swing by Joe.
You said that to him today. I'm going to keep calling you Joe. I do miss the nicknames on the back. That was a fun weekend.
It was. It was also fun seeing some of the other ones around baseball.
Yeah.
This is up the middle, but Iglesias is there, and the flip to second will end the inning. So we move on to inning number 5. The Rockies up 3-0 on Michael Fulmer and the Tigers. Baseball on AT&T Sportsnet is brought to you by Subaru. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. By Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo customers get your 2-for-1 Rockies club level tickets by visiting wellsfargo.com/Rockies. And by the Wyoming Office of Tourism. Wyoming is full of adventure. It's time to find out if you are too. That's why. TravelWyoming.com. Rockies down the street from Elitch is up 3-0 in Lodo against the Tigers. The Rockies last night dropped a tough one 4-3. First of 9 at home before an 8-game road trip. 4-game sets in LA, 4-game set as well in Arizona. Rockies will have an off day on Thursday. Tomorrow's a day game. I regret to inform you it's one of the scheduled no television days, midweek day games. There's only 12 we don't do, and I know it upsets a lot of you, but folks, those decisions are made way back in the winter. 1 ball and no strikes on James McCann, who struck out his first time up. 7 strikeouts through the first 4 innings for Marquez. And that's on the outer edge. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Very few pitches has Herman left right in the middle of the plate. He is working both sides with multiple pitches.
And McCann fouls that off. Okay.
Be careful.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
Scotty, heads up.
Scotty Murayama is the rehab coordinator for the Rockies. And he does a splendid job. He also typically gets his spring training's longer than anybody else's, because anybody that's hurt and has to stay back, there's another strikeout. Into April, into May, sometimes Scotty's with them, holding their hand every day, getting them well. Well, here's the remaining schedule for the top 5 in the wild card race. The Rockies, the Diamondbacks, the Brewers on there. Miami's come on. They deserve to be in the conversation. The Cardinals and the Rockies have the toughest schedule based on 1-loss record of their opponents. The Rockies do have a slight advantage in that 17 of the remaining 31 come right here at Coors Field. They have to dominate at home. They've obviously cooled off tremendously on the road from a 24-10 start.
41-24 at Coors Field.
2-0 on Matuk. Mikey struck out swinging his first time. This is in the air to par if he can get there, but Gerardo cannot. He's had 2 balls right in that area tonight.
First one landed in fair territory. That one about 3 feet foul.
Did you check out? Is Spilly wearing?
No, he's not.
His,
no,
Parr's shoes tonight.
No, he came back to Gerardo
because of the loss.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he didn't want to be dancing in those shoes. He put regular.
See these ones?
Yeah, well, you know, those are Cole Haan, though, right?
Yeah,
we all
have the same shoe because you're a copycatter, but that's okay.
Gerardo last night, as he was running to his position in the 9th inning, yelled at me to take my shoes off because he didn't have a hit.
And he's 0 for 5, so you had to give him back. Bad luck, Spilly. Hey, can you do us a favor with those beautiful Cole Haans you have on?
Get him shine.
Can you at least, you at least get them shine, polish them up?
I'm looking for some polish. I mean,
they look like you played 36 in them today.
No, I only played 9.
Line drive toward the gap in right center field. This is going to run to the wall, and Matuk's going to have a double. Just the 3rd hit tonight against Marquez, the first extra base hit. And that snaps a string of 11 in a row set down by Marquez.
Well, the first hit since Justin Upton's blooper in the 1st inning. Subaru Supermo. He did a nice piece of hitting, did Matuk. Taking it to that right center field gap for his 13th double this season.
John Hicks at the plate. He hit a bouncer to short. And he lines the ball toward right center field. This is also a gapper, and it's going to bring a run home. Back-to-back doubles for the Tigers, and it's 3-1.
These 2 guys, I think, changed their game plan, what they were thinking, talking about Matuk and Hicks. But not trying to pull the fastball, just go with it. This is back-to-back fastballs on the Subaru Supermo. And That one stayed for mid-thigh.
Batting in the 8th spot is the shortstop Jose Iglesias. A run in, a man in scoring position with 1 out. Top of the 5th, and Iglesias takes ball 1. He hit a little roller to Arenado. Two and 0.
Tried 2 curveballs after that 94-mile-an-hour fastball that Hicks hit to right center.
And now it's 3-0. Gotta find a way back in this, otherwise you have 2 on. Fulmer will be bunting. If he's successful at that, he'll have a chance to tie it up with a base hit. First 3-0 count I can recall. That's a strike. 3-1.
Everything down on the Subaru strike zone, but that last pitch, even 3-0, was 97 that time.
Ball 4. I don't think that pitch missed by as much as Iglesias's body language made
No,
it
not
seem.
at all. I mean, it's the top of the Subaru strike zone. It wasn't in. He acted like it was way in.
And again, it's Buddy Black. He did this last night with Sensatella. He came out.
This is more about strategy and how they're going to play this. He's telling Herman, okay, we're going to run this play, and then they might even run the wheel play where they have the shortstop go over, everybody crashes on this first pitch. But it's imperative if they do that, you have to throw first pitch strike. This play only works one time if you're going to do it.
Imagine here you like to put it on if you have average or below average speed at second.
And that's what they have. Yeah, you don't want to have a speedy guy over there because that speedy guy will take off with the shortstop.
Fulmer takes a strike, and the Rockies were playing it straight.
Well, kind of a modified straight with Nolan staying back more at third and Mark charging real hard at first. So it tells me he's got the first half of it, and then Nolan's going to read it.
Reynolds can get to third, and he will, and back to first. In time double play. Wow, that was pretty. 3-5-4.
Great call by Bud. He had this designed. He had it set up. Mark was charging hard. And then you get the 3-5-4 double play. What a throw from Nolan.
That is gorgeous. A run in the inning, and the Rockies with their defense prevent more. They're up 3-1 as we go to the bottom of the 5th at Coors Field.
Reynolds has to do. He's coming into this area, so he'll field the ball right into this area. But I also going to freeze it when he gets ready to catch the ball. Right now, he's already knows that he's going to make this throw to third base. He's already spinning to get some momentum behind the throw and make a nice, strong throw to Nolan. You can also see Nolan going back towards the bag because he wants to have his right foot on the bag as he catches this ball so that he can just shuffle his feet, make the strong throw to DJ, who acts like a first baseman over at first with the long stretch. 145 double plays the Rockies have turned this year. That one was probably as good. That's in the top 5 for me this year.
That's gorgeous. That is one of those special ones. Yeah, you think about the basics of the game. Elementary baseball is playing catch, right?
Yeah.
First thing you do.
Play catch.
Play catch.
Right?
First thing you learn to do. You play catch with mom or dad in the backyard. And it's so important when you teach the game, right? Hit the other guy in the chest. Beautiful throws. Perfect throw from Reynolds in the chest of Nolan. And then Nolan fired an absolute dart over to DJ.
I just like the way they went out and discussed how they were going to play it. So they didn't have to put any signs on so that possibly could have been stolen by Detroit. Everybody knew where they were going and what they were going to do.
Let's see if the Rockies can add on here in the 5th, top of the order. Charlie is 1 for 2. Scored a run in the 3rd inning. He leads all of baseball in runs scored. Runs now. 2 strikes on Blackman. Psychologically, you just want to see the Rockies get off that 3 spot.
Yes.
14 of the last 20 games, they've scored 3 runs or less.
And in those 14 games, they're just 4-10.
The last 20, they're 7-13. Rockies have 71 wins. Huey, would you say 16 more victories would put them at 87? I'd feel pretty comfortable with 87 getting you a playoff spot. Agree or no?
Right on the cusp.
Do you think it's more 88, 89?
Yeah, I think it's more 88, 89.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then you can easily do the math. Then you're talking about 17 and 14, 18 and 13.
Yeah. Let me just say, I'd feel a little bit more confident. Because you don't know. I mean, think about what Miami has done over their last 16, 17 games. They lost last night. They're in the process of losing tonight, but they're 13-4 over the last 17 games.
This is popped up left side. Castellanos and Iglesias. It'll be Nick Castellanos, 1 out. LeMahieu coming up. Here's our CenturyLink high-speed challenge question. It's always a lot of fun. Go to AT&T Sportsnet RM on Twitter to cast your vote. I'll show you what happened in the post-game show. So would you like more interleague play, less interleague play, the exact same amount that you seem to be getting right now from your hometown team, or none at all?
I'm a C guy, about the same amount.
Yeah, I think it's perfect
yeah.
right now. There's some traditionalists, and I get it, that don't want to see the other league until the World Series. But I like seeing I like seeing the different rules, and I like seeing the other teams that you don't get to play against.
Yeah, the other players.
Sure.
The guys that you only see in highlights.
It's fun seeing. I know Miguel Cabrera only played 4 or 5 innings in this series, but seeing a guy like Cabrera, Ian Kinsler's had a great year. We haven't seen Justin Upton in a while. You know, Verlander tomorrow.
Right.
I mean, this kid was a rookie of the year last year. That's good stuff.
You know, Robinson Cano we saw with Seattle. That was Cruz.
DJ thrown out by Iglesias, 2 outs. And that'll bring up Arenado. 2 ground balls tonight for Nolan. I think the players think it's pretty neat.
Oh yeah, they do.
And for the same reason, competing against guys they see highlights of, going to ballparks they don't frequently get to go to, a Fenway Park, a Yankee Stadium.
No, that's why I like it. You know, the way the schedule is too, sometimes you might not go. I mean, the Rockies haven't been to Tampa. Not that Tampa's a great, you know, ballpark per se, but it's still unique. It's a major league ballpark. But say if you only went to Boston once every, you know, 10 years or something, and that was the only opportunity you had to play in Fenway.
You know, the Rockies been pretty fortunate. They've gone to Fenway a lot. They've gone to Baltimore, your old stomping grounds, quite a bit. They've actually gone to the Bronx quite a bit. Tampa's the one team. They've even gone to Toronto a little bit. Tampa, they've been to one time in their history. Next year, they'll play the American League West. 0-2, 1-2. Rockies could be up in Seattle again, which is always a nice summer trip. You'll see Mike Trout next year.
Yeah. Yep. You'll have Texas and Houston.
Yeah, that'll be a lot of fun seeing that terrific Houston club. Adrian Beltre, he's never retiring, right? See
no,
him
he's
with
gonna play
Texas.
forever.
2-2. Well, Arizona, wouldn't you know it, they're playing the Dodgers. All of a sudden the Dodgers maybe in the midst of losing 3 out of 4. They're down 5-1 in the second. Rockies go quietly in the 5th inning. 3-1 as we go to the 6th. A pitching performance tonight. It's been real good for Marquez. He has loaded up on the strikeouts, 8 of them through 5 innings. Finally gave up a run last inning on back-to-back doubles by Matuk and Hicks. In the 6th inning, he will see the top of the order. Ian Kinsler, Alex Presley, and Justin Upton.
Also 4 ground ball outs for Herman.
It's a key inning. Top of the order.
3rd time through.
3rd time through. Fulmer just did a good job against the Rockies' first 3. And there's that slider and a good one. 2-strike count on Kinsler.
He's had both the slider and the curveball.
Kinsler told this story before. More often than when we see Dustin Pedroia in the Red Sox, swung on and missed. Kinsler gone on 3 pitches, strikeout number 9. But you've gotten to know through the years Ian Kinsler a little bit. He was at Arizona State. Pedroia comes. He ends up in Missouri. But you have some more of the details on that story.
Well, yeah, everybody thinks that Pedroia just came in and took his job. No, Ian was playing shortstop. Pedroia was at second after he, talking about Kinsler, transferred from Central Arizona. He goes there, starting shortstop. He goes, but I stunk. I couldn't field the ball. I couldn't hit. And when it came time to play for
the conference
season, yeah, they moved Pedroia over to shortstop. Ian got one more at bat the whole year. He goes, I had to go somewhere to try to get drafted. So he was playing in a summer league in Arizona. And just kind of working out after one of their games, taking extra ground balls. And it happened to be the head coach from Missouri was there at this game. He said he didn't call me, didn't talk to me until after I got done taking my ground balls and offered me a scholarship right then and there.
He had no idea where Columbia, Missouri was.
No, he said I had to look on a map. He goes, I knew it was somewhere in the middle part of the state, folks. He knew that much. He just didn't know. And then he was a 17th round pick by the Rangers. And now a four-time All-Star. Yeah, I watched Ian play at Central Arizona back in 2001 because he played with my nephew.
It all worked out.
Yeah, it did. 218 career home runs as a second baseman for Ian. That's 9th most all time.
It's worked out for both those guys. 1 and 2 on Presley. A single and a strikeout. And Marquez gets sweet contact. Story. You get him? Yes. Good communication on that left side also.
Well, Nolan started to go for it and then realized that he is not going to be able to get it, that the only option was for Trevor to come. Watch, Nolan starts to go and then he stops so he doesn't get in his way. And then Mark too, he didn't stretch until the end. You know, sometimes you'll see first basemen, they'll start to stretch too soon, and then if the ball has any sort of tail or cut on it, then they really have a shortness of how they're going to be able to reach for that ball.
Strike one on Justin Upton. A single and a strikeout for Upton. Pulled foul. Upton 22 career home runs against the Rockies, many of those when he wore a Diamondback uniform. Got to play with his brother for a while. Atlanta, which was really cool because his mom and dad could, get there from Virginia really easily. Here's the 0-2, swung on and missed. And a great inning in the 6th. 2 strikeouts and a weak ground ball through the top of the order for German Marquez. 3-1 Colorado.
career high with 10 strikeouts tonight as we go into the bottom of the 6th inning. We're going to wrap up this Toyota Talk takeover with the last question to Brian Fuentes. What was it like being a Colorado Rocky? Being a Rocky was the highlight of my career. My teammates were nothing like I've ever experienced or experienced later in my career, and I'm thankful for that for sure. Brian Fuentes, Tito, as he's known, the all-time saves leader in the Colorado Rockies. So stay tuned for next week whenever we get a new guest on the Toyota Talk Takeover. Hashtag Toyota Talk. Guys, back to you.
Spilly, nicely done. Tito, thank you very much for joining us tonight. Gerardo Parra with a 1-0 count against Michael Fulmer, and this ball is in the air to shallow left, and Upton will make a basket catch.
Still has a closing speed.
It's 5 straight retired by Fulmer. That'll bring up Mark Reynolds. Mark, 2 strikeouts tonight against Fulmer. Rockies averaging just 4.3 runs a game in August, which is their poorest month of the year, despite the fact that not only do they have the highest on-base percentage, as we discussed earlier, of any month this year, they also have the 2nd highest slugging percentage and OPS of any month this year. It just doesn't
add up,
compute.
Right?
They've left 197 runners on base this month, which is the most of any month.
But the good news is you still had 197 guys out there. I know in the 20 games it's not been pretty. I understand that.
2 strikes.
But the odds are saying you get that many guys on that
the title turn.
The title turn, right.
And
I think you start to get concerned if you don't get guys on. That's when you start to worry.
The thing that is such a bummer about it is the Rockies have actually pitched better collectively in the month of August than any previous month. And usually when you pitch, you win.
Since August 5th, the starting pitcher's a 3.98 ERA.
And everybody
quality starts.
Yeah, and everybody knows if you're under 4, especially playing half your games here in Denver, you're going to win a lot. In many ways, it has been a strange month where the stats have lied. 2-2, and Mark Reynolds continues to be confounded by Michael Fulmer.
First 4,000 fans through the gates on Sunday, September 3rd, who donate a new or gently used book will receive a discounted Rockies ticket voucher for select games in September, courtesy of the UPS store.
It's one of those nights for Mark. Fulmer has 3 strikeouts. They're all owned by Reynolds. Desmond a single and a ground ball to second. 2 outs in the 6th. Desi takes strike 1.
You can see how big that hit was by Gerardo to drive in those 2 runs with 2 outs, because Fulmer has been everything he's been advertised.
Well, he's going to have probably a 1-2-3 inning here. Kinsler settles underneath that pop fly. That's 7 in a row set down by Fulmer. We're off to the 7th inning. The Rockies leading 3-1. Time for the Unlimited Baseball Break, brought to you by T-Mobile. So some guys getting rewarded for outstanding years down on the farm. Mike Tauchman, who's been up here in the big leagues. He is named to the All-Pacific Coast League team along with left-hander Ryan Carpenter, who strikes out a lot of guys. He's coming off a really strong performance the other day. 4.37 ERA is outstanding in the PCL. The All-Sally League team, Willie Abreu, hit 287, 70 driven in for the Tourists of Asheville. And Pioneer Baseball League season-ending All-Star team, Shale Mendoza, Alan Trejo, and Casey Golden. Trejo hit 347 for Grand Junction.
Casey, 15 home runs for Grand Junction.
So congrats to all those guys. Some guys headed to the Arizona Fall League, which is an elite deal. Nolan Arenado played down there, one of the top prospects in baseball. A lot of them end up in the AFL. Yency Almonte, who moved up this year from Hartford to Albuquerque, big right-hander. James Farris, who came in a trade from Chicago from the White Sox. Zach Gemiola, actually from the Cubs, I should say. Dom Nunez and Jonathan Daza.
There's still one more spot to be determined for the Arizona Fall League. There's 6 guys that are eligible to go from each team. And that is a big deal. So many guys.
Well, Nolan dominated the year that Mike Trout was the MVP, the year that Mike Trout and Bryce Harper were playing in the AFL. Castellanos fouls that pitch off. Castellanos, with nobody on base, hitting in the low 200s. He's
202.
Been much better when there are guys on base. This ball's left up, and a long run for Desmond. He can't get there. It's going to be a leadoff double.
It's the first time tonight that either team has had a leadoff guy on. And Castellanos with his double, 24th of the season. Subaru Supermo. That was the rare mistake on the hanging curveball tonight from Herman.
Didn't get it buried.
No.
He's going to have to battle. He's got McCann up, who he struck out twice. The reasons Marquez, you can project him toward the top of a rotation, is his ability to miss bats. Like all of the guys that ultimately become ones, and they're not a ton of them, have the ability to get a strikeout when there's traffic. Marquez has matched his career best with 10. He struck out 10 Nationals earlier this year. First pick strike on McCann.
And that's a good start with that low fastball on the Subaru strike zone, right down at the knees.
To third, out at third base. Gutsy play by Story. And a big play.
Wow. Not the easiest of throws for Trevor. So you got the runner going in front of you right about now. You know that you can get it. Look at how much distance still to go over to third. But part of the issue he has is he has to throw over the top of a 6'4" Castellanos. Subaru Supermo. Well, see how he kind of floats it over the top of him? And then Nolan catches it and applies the tag right on the inside portion of the leg before the foot reaches the bag.
Yeah, that's a great visual of it. As you described it, Huey, he literally had to throw right over the top of him, and so you can't throw it with the same kind of velocity. And the tag just applied in time. That's a gutsy play.
Because if you don't make it,
Story. Now
first
you got a
and
big
third,
issue.
nobody out.
Yep. So McCann at first, with Montook at the plate. Every night the Rockies seemingly do something special in the infield. Tonight they've done a couple of special things. The double play on the bunt to end the 5th inning, 3-5-4. And now after a leadoff double, Story cutting him down, trying to move up. Deep left field, and we've got a tie game. Mikey Matuk with his 10th home run of the year, and things are all even at 3.
Took
another hanger.
Yeah, he had the fastball to right center field in the 5th. This was an 87-mile-an-hour slider. I wanted it away. No, it didn't even come close to the spot. The leg kick gets the foot down. And it's 2 pitches this inning. You got away with the first one because Trevor made the play then at third base. You didn't get away with the second one. What a shame. He'd been just cruising along.
2 misplaced pitches, and the second one really doing a lot of harm.
Now, Steve was out there, so, you know, okay, that happened. Still 3-3. Don't lose your focus. There's 1 out. Got Neshek up for the Rockies now after that home run.
Warwick Saupold's up again for Detroit. I say again, he hasn't been up tonight, but he was in the ball game yesterday, and he got a big out. He got Nolan with the bases loaded yesterday. John Hicks doubled in a run in the 5th, and it's going to be a tough play for Herman. No play. Infield hit.
Well, you had pieces of the bat going one direction. The ball going a dribbler down the third baseline. Right off the end of the bat. Oh, you know what happened? Because Jonathan didn't come out after that ball. I think he got distracted by the piece of the bat going into foul territory. Because he looks at that and then realizes, wait, that's not the ball. The ball's in fair territory.
Yeah, because ordinarily that's going to be the catcher's ball.
Right, but you see where his head went. His head was looking off the field of play.
Yeah, he didn't see it. Iglesias taking a long look at Dave Clark because the pitcher's spot is next. If they bunt here, they could conceivably take 1 shot at it. Pinch hit for Fulmer.
And that's why they've thrown over twice, to see if they would give it away at all. Meaning if Iglesias would square around the bunt.
And in the dugout, Miguel Cabrera has just put his mitts on. You know, unless sometimes you'll get that instruction from the dugout to kill a little time for the guy in the bullpen. And so this may be all about getting Neshek ready, and that's exactly what it's about, because here's Buddy. He wants Neshek to handle the rest of this 7th inning. Well, Marquez did so many good things tonight. And into the 7th inning, still allowing just 3 runs is a positive, but it's a 3-3 ball game now. Colorado Rockies baseball on AT&T Sportsnet is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. 3-3 ball game after the two-run home run by Mikey Matuk here in the 7th. And there's just one out, and there's a man aboard in John Hicks. Jose Iglesias is at the plate, and Pat Neshek's now in the ball game. He's been throwing the ball well.
Yeah, he got his first win with the Rockies on Saturday down in Atlanta. A couple innings in that series. They were clean innings.
He misses ball one on Iglesias. 87 pitches tonight for Marquez, matching his career high with 10 strikeouts. He walked only one.
Those 87 pitches, 63 for strikes. Man. So that bad hanging slider.
Yeah, but when you're in a tight game, sometimes it comes down to just one pitch.
That's
Rockies
right.
got 3 runs in the first 3 innings against Fulmer, and they haven't done much the last 3 innings against him. 1-2. The bullpen yesterday, even though it was a 4-3 loss, terrific for the Rockies. 5 1/3 shutout innings. They allowed just 3 hits, 5 collective strikeouts, didn't walk anybody. Chris Russin again was marvelous out of the pen. The Rockies got a short start from Senzatella.
That's why tonight it was kind of imperative that you at least went into the 7th inning like Herman did.
Jake McGee's down tonight. He's pitched in 3 straight. So we will not see Big Jake.
Greg Holland had a clean inning last night, just 12 pitches.
Well, Tigers' pen, much maligned pen, they had 4 shutout innings yesterday.
They only gave up 4 hits. They had 5 strikeouts.
Like the Rockies' chances to see that pen again. Swung on and missed. A strikeout of Iglesias by Neshek, 2 gone. And Fulmer's going to hit for himself. So Brad Ausmus with a runner at first and not in scoring position, and 2 outs. He's going to go with his big young right-hander.
I think maybe if there was a runner at second base, he would have played the Cabrera card. 89 pitches for Fulmer. But he's regularly a guy that goes over 100. Look at this. Let's do it, Trevor.
That's a great play by Story. Even with Fulmer running, that's not easy. And a perfect throw. In the inning, a 2-run home run by Matuk has tied things at 3 as we go to the bottom of the 7th at Coors Field. Here's our Cooney Lexus look back. DJ LeMahieu got the Rockies on the board. Third home run the last few days. Another opposite field bomb. And then a huge 2-out, 2-run single from Gerardo Parra. And the Rockies were enjoying a 3-0 lead. Herman Marquez was cruising, loading up on the strikeouts. But this hanging slider in a 3-1 game got turned around by Mikey Matuk, the 2-run home run. And the Tigers have caught Colorado. So we go to the bottom of the 7th. Michael Fulmer's still out there, and the Rockies have the bottom third of their order. It's Lucroy, Story, and then a pinch hitter for Neshek.
I said a moment ago, 89 pitches for Fulmer, 59 for strikes. He's also induced 10 ground ball outs.
Lucroy is single, and nearly had another base hit, a sharp ground ball deep in the hole that Jose Iglesias made a nice backhanded throw on. Mike Dunn is warming up in the Rockies bullpen. Pitch strike on Lucroy. It's pitch number 90.
For Fulmer, he's carried his velocity all night long. He's been 95, 96, just like he was advertised.
Carlos Gonzalez.
Yeah, Smiley mentioned it in our open about the injury last night, having to come out, but how he's much better today. We've all talked to Cargo. You could just tell he was in a better place physically around the batting cage today.
One and two on Lucroy. Crowd of 30,721 on a school night here in late August. Dodgers closing on Arizona 5-4 now in the 4th inning.
Down 5-1. Rich Hill on the mound for Arizona.
Rockies began the day 2 games behind the Diamondbacks, 3 up on Milwaukee.
Zach Godley for Arizona on the mound.
Godley's tough.
Arizona scored 5 runs in the first.
St. Louis beat up Milwaukee tonight 10-2.
The good news was up in Washington tonight.
Through rain. They were playing in downpour early. I couldn't believe they were still playing. That's when
they started.
Hit the ball out.
Yeah.
8-3 was the final there in D.C. Well, Texas made themselves at home at the Trop playing Houston. 12-2 the Rangers beat Houston, and that series moved to Tampa.
A lot of people not happy with the Rangers and not flip-flopping the schedule with Houston and playing a home and home where Houston could get the games later in September.
I'm just glad, and we have no dog in the hunt, but I'm just glad because of what Houston's going through that it's found off again, that the Astros have a big lead in the West.
Yes.
Because if they were, you know, they're going to be adversely affected. But if ultimately they ended up losing the division because of all that, not nearly as important, obviously, to what's transpiring down there with all of the people and the devastation. But that would have been unfortunate. Not nearly on the same level of it as everything else, clearly.
No, but those people again.
You know, the
thoughts are with you.
Yeah, the footage is just mind-boggling when you see neighborhoods
really is.
where the water's up to the second level on houses, buildings. Never seen anything like it.
No.
Katrina.
40, 50 inches
Marlins,
of rain.
the only thing close.
Yeah.
I read somewhere Seattle broke a record last year. Had 40 some odd inches of rain. You know how much it rains in Seattle. Fouled off again. This one storm brought more than 50 inches of rain to many communities in that Houston area. 2-2 on Jonathan Lucroy leading off in the 7th. This next pitch will be number 10.
Also number 100.
And a base hit to right center field. Boy, that's one heck of an at-bat by the Rockies backstop Jonathan Lucroy. Second knock of the 9th, 5th of the series.
Look at everything on the Subaru strike zone. I mean, in all different types. Fastballs, some sliders, ones he let go, foul balls, and finally he gets a slider. It just throws it out to right field.
I erroneously said 10. That was actually pitch 11. The Rockies can build the go-ahead run here. Story hitting 8th. For the moment, Amarista has come out on deck. And he indeed may be the pinch hitter. Saw Cargo with batting gloves on.
Well, it depends on what happens with Trevor's at bat. You put Lexi out there, if Trevor reaches, then Lexi's up there to bunt. But if not, I think Cargo is there to swing for the fences.
And Daniel Stump, the only left-hander for Brad Ausmus. We saw him last night. He's one of 2 men up in the Tiger bullpen. Soppo.
He's sort of almost a complete game out there now. He's still going.
Two 2-0 on Trevor. Line drive, base hit. Lucroy is going to head toward third, and he'll get there as the throw is just lobbed into second. Nobody out, runners on the corners. It will be Carlos Gonzalez.
Trevor had the solid line drive to center field in the 4th inning. And now what a swing to take that ball to right center field. And then Jonathan too, knowing that the right fielder Presley's playing back, he motors into third. Twice tonight the Rockies have gone first to third.
Well, give Trevor credit. His last 5-6 ball games, he's been squaring up some baseballs. The strikeouts have been cut down. He's just biding time. He's going to throw that left hand in the air in a minute. No, he's not. I thought for sure he would make the move. Maybe he's saving it for Blackman.
I think he's got to try to ride this one more hitter. But Cargo's already been announced. You've got your only left-hander loose out in the bullpen. You got 2 left-handers back-to-back. I mean, why'd you get him up going so quickly?
Kind of curious, because then you're looking at him just for one hitter, because after Blackman's LeMahieu and Arenado. So Cargo's at bat with the infield back. Cargo's at bat. Cargo's so used to historically hitting a lot of home runs. He's got to think small here, doesn't he, Huey?
Yeah. Well, small but big part of the field.
Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Not a big swing.
No, it doesn't have to be a big one. I'll take that swing he had in Atlanta when he pitch hit a couple days ago.
That is going to go foul. just about everybody else, save Desmond and Lucroy, Cargo has never seen Michael Fulmer. Lucroy at third, Story at first. The book on Cargo this year has been to throw the ball up in the zone, hard up in the zone, and that has been what we have seen really from day one of the season.
But Fulmer's 96 miles an hour, some run on it.
Here's 96, and it's 0-2. Nobody out. First and third. We're in the seventh. And again, surprisingly, came with a heater up.
I think that's where they'll stay. Try to stay there.
Well, until you guys always talk about this, until you make an adjustment and counter what pitchers are doing, you're going to get a steady diet.
He shook to a sinking fastball, 1-1, just a four-seamer in. And overthrew that one.
107 pitches in for Fulmer.
Now for Cargo, he's just feeling like, okay, I'm back in a manageable count now. 2-2 after being down 0-2.
All heaters.
Yep. 95 through 97 with the fastballs.
There's no such thing as a must win until you're facing elimination, but boy, do the Rockies need this one tonight.
Yeah. Going with the changeup.
In the air to center field. This will get the run home. Lucroy can walk home. Cargo comes through. It's 4-3 Colorado. Good at bat for Carlos. He was behind 0-2. That's his first ribby in 9 days, and a large one.
And it all started with the very first pitch from Fulmer. It was a 95-mile-an-hour fastball that he changed, or that he tried to get Cargo on, and Cargo fouled it right down the first baseline. And it ended up rolling foul. The second one was a swinging strike at 96, and it was a ball high, 95. Another ball that was high at 94 to make it 2-2. Fouled off a 97-mile-an-hour fastball to left field, and then thank you with the 87-mile-an-hour changeup. And now they're going for left-hander.
4-3 Rockies. on the sac fly off the bench by Cargo. The Coors Light Cold Hard Facts are brought to you by Clean, Crisp Coors Light. Ribbies from the top spot in the lineup all time. In the National League, Craig Biggio, a Hall of Famer, drove in '88 with the Astros in '98. That is going to go down. Charlie is sitting on 83. If you're wondering about Trevor moving up on that deep fly ball, he went halfway when he saw it was going to be caught. He went back and tagged, took a few hard strides, and then shut it down. And the breaking ball is in there for a strike on Charlie. Chuck is 1 for 3.
Daniel faced one batter last night. That was Gerardo. Struck him out with a hard fastball at 96 miles an hour. 39th game of the season for the left-hander.
And this is bounced to second.
Well, that was the only option for Ian Kinsler, because Hicks had gone too far away from first, and Stomfus falling off the mound, he wouldn't have got to first base.
Mayhew, a home run, a walk, and a ground ball to short. He's going to see a right-hander. Yeah, I still don't understand why Brad Ausmus had gotten his lefty up, and he had him face only one of the lefties. The Carlos Gonzalez sac fly. Hey, kids big and small, be sure to visit the Aero Arcade presented by Aero Electronics. It's located in the interactive area on the main concourse in center field. Good pitcher for the Tigers, Warwick Soaphold, pitched last night. 2/3 of an inning, gave up a couple of hits, had a walk, 1 strikeout, but when he left the ball game last night, the bases were loaded. Got some help from Schimpf to get him out of that, got to bail him out. For Soaphold, it's fastball, changeup, curveball, slider mix. He faced DJ yesterday and walked him. 2 outs. Rockies up a run now in the 7th. Blackman at first. One strike on LeMahieu. 1-1.
Get a time on Warwick. It's time to the plate.
4 runs, 8 hits for the Rockies. Clean defensively. 3 runs, 7 hits. No errors for Detroit. And this gets away. Not far enough, though.
A lot of pitchers, after they almost throw one away or they have to be bailed out by the first, they don't like to throw back over there again. They get the little bit of the thing with it. So I don't want to throw it away.
Pretty quick to the plate, isn't he?
Yeah, 1.11. That was rushed. You'll get help. Charlie will get help from Tony Diaz, but that's so fast, and even your trained eye just tells you you don't need a stopwatch. I can't run on that.
Two balls, 2 strikes on LeMahieu. 2 singles at the start of the inning. Lucroy with an 11-pitch at bat against Fulmer. He finally lined the ball to right center field. Story followed that up with a sharp base hit. And Lucroy, good base running, went first to third. Cargo pinch hit, fell behind 0-2, and then on a 2-2 pitch hit a fly ball to deep center. Two. DJ, guts of a burglar. That's a strike on the Subaru strike zone.
Now you get Charlie with the extra jump with the 3-2, 2 out. Being able to run on the pitch. Hicks is going to play behind. That helps with another stride or 2. Brad Osmus is trying to take. Come in, don't go all the way back behind Charlie.
Outside, and now Nolan will get an opportunity with 2 aboard. So Soppold for the 2nd straight ball game walks LeMahieu in their matchup. Arenado tonight, ground ball to first, ground ball to third, ground ball to second. He's due 2 for his last 19 with runners in scoring position.
This is a little payback too for Soppold. Soppold struck him out last night with the bases loaded.
Slider away.
Slider.
For the first pitch of that at bat, he hung a breaking ball. Nolan took it for strike 1. And he went back to that same pitch.
And then the pattern was after that pitch, then he elevated a fastball away from him, then slidered him off the plate. That's how they did it last night.
Here's the 0-1. Deep drive, way back, left center field. Take a good look. You won't see it for long. You can't trick them twice. 3-run. Big fly.
But they try to trick him with the same pattern they did last night. They went to the fastball, the second pitch. We just got done talking about it. Nolan knows everything and then some about what they were going to do. And that time, last night he swung through it. This time he made a pay. 30th home run of the year. And boy, oh boy, what a huge one.
Sampo didn't even want to look. He knew it. A monster shot to left center. And now the Rockies lead it by 4. For Nolan, he now has 111 RBIs.
And that's that one extra hit that they've been missing.
Big time. And all with 2 outs.
And Gerardo's back in the third was with 2 outs. Oh, this is just a gorgeous swing on the Subaru Supermo.
He did not miss it.
No, he didn't. He's been grinding hard with runners in scoring position.
Home run number 30 for Nolan. Three straight 30-plus home run seasons. His last 2 actually went over 40. 7-3 Colorado. The inning began at 3-3. One and 2. There are certain guys in this game you do not want to give a second look.
No, Nolan's one of those guys. And the second look from the same pitcher, and you know what he has, and he started with the same game plan. Start him off with that curveball, then a fastball.
That fastball was absolutely mashed.
Wow. And the best part about that, besides being a 3-run home run and the obvious, was it was no doubt off the bat. There was not a hold your breath moment. Is it not? No. You knew it immediately.
That's at any park ever built. Two and 2 on Parra. Gerardo chases to end the inning. Cargo first, a sac fly, and then Nolan a big fly. And the Rockies enjoy a 4-run lead now. 7-3 on the Tigers as we go to inning number 8. everybody gets tacos tomorrow because the Rockies have hit that magic number. Make your way to participating Taco Bell locations between 4 and 6 to get your Rockies taco special. Liv Moss at Taco Bell. She wanted tacos, she's going to get tacos. Mike Dunn's on to pitch the top of the 8th inning. He'll get the top of the order. Kinsler, Presley, Upton for Detroit. Pitcher of record on the plus side now is Pat Neshek. The book closed on last year's American League Rookie of the Year. Michael Fulmer in 6 1/3 gives up 5 runs, 8 hits, a walk and 3 strikeouts.
Mike Dunn was warming up for that whole half an inning, thinking it was going to be a little closer affair until that home run by Nolan. He's got a 4-run lead to work with.
Strike 1 on Kinsler, 0 for 3 against Marquez, 2 strikeouts. Alex Presley scheduled, but he bats lefty, so Jacoby Jones is in the on-deck circle to pinch hit, evidently. Curveball, 1-1.
Mike's in a pretty good place right now. Scoreless in 20 out of his last 22 appearances.
This ball is hit to left pretty deep, and Desi's over there, and he makes the catch.
He almost overran it.
1 out. And that will bring up Jacoby Jones to pinch hit.
Ball was kind of a jam shot by Kinsler. Then as he had to reach back, keep his eye on there. That is one of those feelings as an outfielder when you think, yeah, well, I got to run real hard, I got to get over there, and then you end up overrunning the ball.
Jones takes ball 1. Yeah, that can't be a comfortable
no, it's
feeling.
not. It's like, oh man.
Jacoby Jones, 25-year-old, native of Oklahoma, was in the Pirates organization. He came in 2015 for Joakim Soria right before the trade deadline. He's one of those guys that gets off the bus and gets your attention. Big, strong kid.
Very athletic.
Yep, runs well. 1-1.
See more and more guys now wearing the extra guard by the face, but part of his was he was hit by a pitch earlier this year in the face when they were at Minnesota. So he said now it's just a fact of life for him that he's going to always wear that.
He's another LSU guy, by the way.
They get a lot of guys. How do they get so many good players all the time?
There's a lot of reasons. Have you ever seen their facilities, by the way?
I have not, no.
Ridiculous.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't expect anything less,
No,
but
not at LSU. Most of those schools in the SEC. 2-2. Swung on and missed. Jacoby Jones goes down swinging. 2 outs, and that'll bring up Upton. Well, a guy I know you admired, a guy you played against on the coaching lines at first now, Omar Vizquel, 27 years in the big leagues as a player mostly, and now as a coach. And Omar Vizquel, if there was a better shortstop all time, I want to see him. I know Ozzie Smith was great, and he's right there with him. 7 times, listen to what I'm about to say, 7 times in Omar's career playing shortstop, he committed 5 errors or less in a season. He had a year where he played every single day and made only 3 errors. Playing shortstop.
I know. You don't have to tell me. I witnessed it firsthand. I don't know how many hits he robbed from me too. But he was fearless out there. You know, there's a bouncing ball in the Bazio no-hitter when he was playing for Seattle that he just barehanded threw over to first. I mean, who would do that in a no-hitter?
And his body never changed. He was always in And just like he is now, fantastic
That's
shape.
what I said to him yesterday. I said, dude, you could still play. He's like, no. I think he could.
I honestly think he could.
Yeah.
I know he can go play defense.
No, you don't lose hands like he had.
No.
When he and Robbie Alomar were together in Cleveland, it was sick.
Yep. It's a Hall of Fame, middle of the infield. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Upton. Good spot by Mike Dunn. Upton fouled it off his leg. Wow, he's hurt.
Oh, he is. This catch.
Oh, got him on the back leg.
Is it the back toe?
It's hard to tell. Was it the lower part of his shin or was it the toe?
Looks like the toe, only because he's not putting a whole lot of weight on his right foot. Let's give us a better look. Couldn't quite tell there either. But he's going to stay in the game. Getting a round of applause. They go right back inside.
Well, that's generally what happens. 1 and 2. Lucroy actually went to the outside corner. 2 and 2. Really hard to hit if you don't feel like you can stand on your backside.
That's kind of hitting 101.
Cutter misses. Cutter slider. 3 and 2. Upton's one of those guys who really hasn't changed his stance much from when he came into the league as a 19-year-old.
No, he doesn't look much different when he's in the box. Body type.
No, the body. I mean, he was a big, strong kid when he came up. Breaking ball on the ground to short. And a terrific inning from Mike Dunn. 1-2-3 in the 8th. Rockies lead 7-3. Colorado Rockies baseball on AT&T Sportsnet is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Say yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. By the Lodge Casino, your first choice for fun. And by Bond Peas, it takes all types to save lives. Give blood. The Rockies, who so frequently in the month of August have been stuck on 3 runs, had 3 runs going to the bottom of the 7th, and then they got a 4 spot, including the big shot, a 3-run home run from Nolan Arenado. New pitcher in the ball game is Jeff Farrell. Mark Reynolds at the plate. 0 for 3, 3 strikeouts from Mark, and he takes strike 1. Some changes defensively. Drew Romine has come in for Justin Upton. He's in left field, and Jacoby Jones is in center field. And moving to right field is Mikey Matuk. Fly ball off the end of the bat, and a quick opportunity for Romine. Versatile one. Catcher, infielder, and outfielder, yeah.
Jeff Farrell, fastball, changeup.
That was a changeup.
Yeah, fastball 93 miles an hour, changeup at 82.
Spent most of the year in Toledo. He had some previous big league experience, not a lot. This is just his 15th big league ball game. Desmond's 1 for 3. Ian takes that down. He's got some offense at the bottom of the order, and plenty of offense after that 3-run shot by Nolan. 2 more runs scored tonight for Blackman, so he's got 119 runs scored, most in baseball. Went off speed on a 2-0 count.
That's a cut on the changeup. Most times changeups will die, they'll fade.
Three balls and a strike. Adam Ottavino's throwing in the Rockies bullpen. Looks like he'll have the 9th inning. It's good to see Mike Dunn back where he was in April. He's been really good for a while now.
Mike, since July 1st, scoreless in 21 out of his last 23 now. And you can go even a little bit higher than that for Mike.
You know what pitch I like for Dunner is that curveball. And he didn't throw it much in April, but he's mixed that curveball in usually a couple times an outing. He's been effective with it.
Well, and you know what? Now it's on the scouting report. So that's where when you go into those meetings prior to a series, you kind of talk about the pitchers. If we're done, now you say, well, he'll throw that occasional curveball to get me over. And so you can't, that's also in the back of your mind.
Think back to that 7th inning, and all the highlights will be of the 3-run home run from Nolan, and well, they should be. Don't forget the at-bat that started the inning by number 21, Jonathan Lucroy.
And that was the first time tonight that the Rockies had a leadoff hitter on.
Great point.
But what a battle it was.
11 pitches, and then a sharp single to right center. And then Trevor had a base hit right behind that. Lucroy, good base running, went first to third.
They really made Fulmer work for his last, probably 14, 15 pitches. Maybe even a few more than that, because Jonathan was 12 pitches, right? 12 pitches, and then Trevor had some, and then you also had the 6 pitches to Cargo, so even more than that, almost 20 pitches.
Ball and a strike on Lucroy. 7 runs, 9 hits. Funny how this game works. Last night the Rockies had 13 hits, but just 3 runs in a 4-3 defeat.
Not as many opportunities with runners in scoring position, but they're 2 for 4 tonight. I mean, just little things in the game you can't quite figure out how it happens or why it happens. And then Nolan with a big home run.
Lucroy's approach is not dissimilar to DJ LeMahieu.
Good call. Same thing. He's thinking, I'm going to stay inside the ball. I'm going to work from right field over to left field. Last night he hit the hanging slider out to left center.
And I can already tell you, the 2 best 2-strike hitters on this team, DJ you knew about, and now Jonathan Lucroy.
Well, and that's what you needed towards the bottom portion of the lineup.
2-2.
He's kind of been a fixture now in that 7th spot. Now he'll move up if the way the lineup is, depending on who's out. But for the most part, that 7th spot, he's kind of owned it.
Desmond takes off. The throw to second. It's going to get him. No, it didn't get him. The throw beat Desmond. He was called safe. Kinsler immediately signaled to the dugout to take a look at it.
And that's Jordan Baker who makes the call. But watch Desi. As soon as he slides in, he helps with the call too. This is a straight steal. That's why he's saying it's safe, because watch the tag.
And he is safe. They're not going to review
but watch
this.
The tag. The throw beats him, and then he lifts his left leg up. So Ian, the only thing he can do is swipe again and get him on the hip. That's 11 stolen bases on the year for Ian.
And good for Desi, because he's lost at least 2 off the top of my head, and maybe 3 on times he was safe but couldn't hold on to the bag.
And then was called out with the,
on the overslide kind of deal, or the bounce slide.
Momentarily losing contact with the bag.
And I like this. It's what we talked about. Desmond continuing to apply pressure. Up 4 runs, bottom of the 8th. And a chance to make it a 5-run game. The 3-2 pitch swung on and missed by Lucroy. 2 outs. I'll bring up Story.
Fans, you're not going to want to miss this, because the next player-elect game is Friday, September 1st. Celebrate Kyle Freeland during the game and buy the player-elect ticket package to get the exclusive player t-shirt. And a reminder again, Kyle's also starting on Friday night.
You know what'll be interesting? What Buddy does tomorrow behind the plate. This is not at all a slide of Tony Walters, but 5 hits the last 2 ball games for Jonathan Lucroy. A day game tomorrow, but the off day Thursday. Does he come back and play Lucroy tomorrow afternoon with Chad Bettis on the hill?
I think there's a good possibility that with Verlander on the mound too, and I mean, there's so many things. Earlier this year, was this a couple weeks ago, when Ryan was sick and it was a late scratch, that Jonathan had to catch that day game, so he ended up catching 4 days in a row on the day game after the night game.
And again, it's not a slight on Tony, but you know, Lucroy has established himself and was traded for to be the everyday guy. Now, if there was a ball game Thursday, I don't think you'd see this potential conversation even happen, but let's see. 1-2 on Story. Lucroy is 1 for 3 with a home run against Verlander. Peeking ahead of tomorrow, Gerardo Parra, you know he'll be in the lineup, 3 for 6 with a home run against Verlander. strikeout of Story. So Desmond walks and steals a base, but he's left at second. Rockies up by 4, looking for 3 more outs.
Them to come alive. They found a way to do that tonight. The defense has been on par since yesterday. They continue that trend, and hopefully the Rockies will find a way to roll to a victory over the Detroit Tigers. We're getting ready for the Toyota post-game show. That's coming up right after this one. Jenny Kavnar with Corey Sullivan out in center field. And I think we're going to talk about a little bit of offense after harping on the runners in scoring position.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they did a phenomenal job with runners in scoring position. Some quality at bats, some productive outs that we always talk about. But it started with German Marquez.
It did start with German Marquez. We'll wrap up his night and set you up for tomorrow. I heard Chad Bettis is facing Kate Upton's fiance, so that'll be a fun matchup.
She was at the game tonight, by the way.
Really?
Yeah.
Surprised you noticed. Adam Ottavino's on the hill. Nicholas Castellanos is in the batter's box. He's 1 for 3, had a double back in the 7th inning. Castellanos was in the Futures game a few years back with the Rockies' third baseman. He was going to go to the University of Miami. That's ball 2-0. So when you get drafted in the first round, you tend to sign.
Well, when you're throwing some big dollars at you, why not? Adam pitched last night an inning. Gave up a hit, but just 14 pitches.
Two balls and a strike. Bettis and Verlander tomorrow. There's the slider that started on the inside corner and finished in the other batter's box.
Heard somebody behind home plate say that was nasty. Yeah, it was.
You know, you really get a feel for it if you ever have the opportunity to sit behind home plate down low and you see that slider, you say, man, that thing moves a lot. 2-2 and a weak ground ball to Mark Reynolds. Good coordination with Adam Ottavino, and the former Northeastern star has the first out of the 9th inning.
Came back after throwing the first 2 pitches for balls and to get that all-important leadoff out in the 9th inning.
Tell you what'll be interesting for the Tigers tomorrow, Huey. I doubt Cabrera's going to play with the bat. And now you have a big question mark with their best hitter this year, Justin Upton.
Yeah, if
he had to come out of the ball game after he finished his at bat, but he didn't go out to play defense in the bottom of the 8th inning. And that foot's going to get more sore overnight.
Right, it's not going to start to feel better. Now it is when you go to bed and you get up, the first thing you do in the morning is put some pressure on it. Ow.
James McCann 0 for 3 tonight. It's the All-Star break. He's one of the top 3 hitting catchers in baseball. 2-0.
Hit 25 out of his last 32 ball games.
Yeah, he's hit 327 since the break. Just in case, Greg Holland is throwing behind Adam at the belt for a strike, 2-1. And watch, you know, we'll show Greg throw a pitch here. He's so smart because he's been doing this forever. He's getting stretched, but he's throwing about 50% right now. Now, if all of a sudden there becomes a traffic jam on base, he's going to start letting it fly.
And Greg's one of those type of closers too. Some closers have that routine where in the 6th inning they'll do something, and in the 7th, he's more of a get it ready in a hurry type of guy. He can get his arm loose on a moment's notice.
And a wicked slider that'll strike out McCann. 2 outs, nobody on. And Mikey Matuk will come up.
This was the Adam slider of years gone by. That's the one that started on the plate and then it ends up breaking 2.5 feet.
Well, Matuk hit a home run in the 7th, which scared the dickens out of all Rockies fans. It was a 2-run shot. The Rockies had been in control. Juan Marquez had been pitching a beautiful game. And he hung a slider with a man aboard, and all of a sudden it was a 3-3 game. 0-1 on Matuk. Tigers are interesting, Huey, and it's going to be an interesting offseason as well. Probably a busy one. Brad Ausmus, who knows if he'll be back in his 4th year. They have the 2nd highest payroll in baseball, depending on how you calculate it. Forbes has them at $199 million. Only the Dodgers with a higher payroll, and they have a big payroll. And they're 16 games under 500, about to be 17. DJ's got it, and the Rockies have won the baseball game 7-3.
Big win.
Big win. They need to string together some. Nolan Arenado, he had the big blow in the 7th inning, a 3-run shot. 7-3 a final for the Rockies. Our Jimmy John's delivery of the game. It was 4-3, and then Nolan demolished that baseball. RBIs 109, 110, 111, and it made for a comfortable rest of the evening for Colorado. So they get to shake hands. The winning pitcher is Pat Neshek. Michael Fulmer takes the loss. He is 10-12. Neshek's record now 5-3. To center field we go. Here's Jenny.
All right, Drew, thanks so much. Always happy to talk about a Rockies win for the Toyota postgame show. We'll do that tonight, and we'll be talking about some fantastic offense.
Yes, it was incredible. Should we tell them that I called something, or should we make them wait?
You always call home runs, so I guess they'll have to guess coming up.